Virtual Classroom 2020-2021, page 374 here.
This agreement with Edgenuity will be our secondary distance learning platform. And I've asked Mr. Ogle to address any questions that the board might have. We are familiar with the program. We've used it at Favor. We've used it for credit recovery. It's been in the district for about 8 years, but it's we've never relied on it as much as we possibly will this year. And so that's why I wanted to offer Mr. Ogle's expertise on that to the board tonight.
We started back in May with the principals and directors knowing that we were going to have a platform in place for our students. And so during committee meetings with you guys through May and in June, and then finished up this year, we did look at several different platforms and got input from the principals and directors of what they thought would be best for our students. And so the one that we came up with was Edgenuity, which we've been using in the district for 8 years. Ms. Benson is our expert that's been using that for credit recovery at the high school and then our alt ed the last few years, and then just recently our Blue Jay Academy, which is our full online. We were in a consortium with Meridian Technology, and we paid $33,000 for 55 seats. Now the 55 seats were just 55 seats at one time. But when we were in that consortium, we may have 110 students on that, but we were borrowing seats from somebody else that may not be on it at that time. And so the consortium may have had 1,000 seats, and so when it got to 1,000, it wouldn't let anybody else log on. And so when we went back and started looking at the programs and finding out what the price was going to be, we were able to get the price down so every student 6 through 12 would have a seat in Edgenuity if we had to go to distance learning. And we could offer more seats in our Blue Jay Academy than we did last year. We capped that last year at 55 students, and this year we've taken that cap off. We don't know what that's going to look like for the regular classroom, because we may have a fluctuate of 200 students in Blue Jay Academy. We don't know from 6 through 12. And so that may lower some of our class sizes where we have to move a teacher over to Blue Jay Academy. But for $7,000 more, we were able to get every student, 6 through 12, a seat with Edgenuity license. And so we will no longer be bringing you the consortium with Meridian. We're going to go out on our own, and if you guys will approve this, we will have a seat for everybody 6 through 12. One of the things that was asked, and I think some of the teachers behind, are how do we get that out? What are we going to look like if we talk about exact path? You know, what are we going to do with exact path? What are teachers that are elective teachers? What does that look like? And so we have talked and looked at several different platforms with Google Classroom, Canvas, and Dashboard, and we decided that we would go ahead and use Google Classroom. And so we are setting up professional development with Google Classroom, so every teacher in the district, whether it is a core class or an elective, will have a Google Classroom setting, and they will be trained on that. One thing that we looked at was how are we going to get training, and we have 3 professional development days on August 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's a lot for Exact Path, to get Edgenuity, get everybody trained, and Google Classroom. And so Justin Stevens is running some part of our Google Classrooms at the high school. As one of our experts. I went to Dee, and he said, go to Justin. Justin knows Google Classroom inside and out, and so he is building our professional development online. And so it will be ready to be rolled out August 3rd of what that would look like, so teachers could go on to be able to interact with our students. What we will do is, if they will go on and do that professional development off contract time, we will give them off the September 21st professional development day. We need that professional development up front, because there's a likelihood that when school gets started, we may have to be out before we get to that September 21st professional development day. And so we'll ask the staff to go in those first 2 weeks in August, do the professional development, and then Justin Stevens will be able to answer any questions that they will have. We will still have professional development on Google Classroom throughout the year, but we need to get them acclimated to that right up front. And so that kind of gets me to what will that look like. So our teachers will use the Google Classroom to interact. The students will have a username, password. We're going to require, if the students come to the brick and mortar 1 day a week, we're going to go ahead and do the online in the classroom. And so we'll get them acclimated to Edgenuity, 6 through 12, and then K through 5 with Exact Path. And so if we do have to, on a Friday, numbers are bad, we have to, suspend school for a week, the students will be acclimated to get to use that program. Teachers will know what's expected. So if approved tonight for this, what Carmen and I will do next is, I will do secondary, she'll do elementary. We will have principals, teachers, the GACT, and a couple of parents. And we're going to come up to be a unified secondary plan of what that will look like if we have to go to the distance learning. What we don't want is two Algebra 1 parents or two Algebra 1 students that have two different teachers and that be graded different. We want that to be unified. And so we want input from the parents and the GACT. And that was kind of what, when we had negotiations, we said we would bring back to them. And so I'll be doing that secondary, Carmen will be doing that elementary. And that is our plan going forward. I know that it looks like that it's complex a little bit. It may not be complex for a lot of people, but it's going to be better than the paper pencil, and we've had a lot of time to put some effort into making sure that we're going to provide our students an education.
I wanted to mention and highlight something there, that we are working to find ways to integrate parental involvement along with staff involvement in this as we look at what the future, the new normal is, and Ms. Drogo and Ms. Walters have done an outstanding job of trying to plan that, and with the idea that we might have to pivot on a dime on some of this. And so that's something that we're working very hard to try and get to a point where we can have those discussions, but we have to secure the platforms before we can begin having those discussions.
Doug, I just wanted to clarify, because in the agenda it just says includes a seat for all students. I just want to make sure it is unlimited.
It is unlimited. Every student that's enrolled in Guthrie Public Schools, 6 through 12, has a seat.
Okay, thank you.
So we can disregard the comment about the audit, the enrollment that we have to pay.
So I didn't hear you.
In the agreement here, they have the ability to audit the count throughout the year, so we just disregard that.
They'll probably do that to see how many students are on and what time. We asked them to audit that. I brought to the curriculum committee, I believe it was in May, what time students got on there. We had students that were on there from 12 to 3 in the morning. And so they do audit that to give us a time that students are on and how many students are at what time levels. And so they will audit that and give it back.
Doug, appreciate your time on this, and I know it's a huge task for you, and it's going to be a huge task for the teachers, so we appreciate them taking this on. You talk about getting the teachers trained up and going with this. Now, when the students get there and have to learn how to use this Google Classroom program, have any idea how long it's going to take? I mean, it's probably going to vary, but is that something you feel pretty confident the students can, because obviously if we're 2 weeks in and we got to go home, we want the students to know how to operate the program and run the program. So any ideas there?
Of course, the longer we're in school before we have to shut down, it's going to be better because they'll be used to using it 1 day a week. Some teachers may decide to use it 2 days a week, but we're going to at least require it 1. I think some of our teachers at the secondary level have been using it quite a bit and know a little bit about it. Some of the teachers at Guest, Ms. Davison had sent them to workshop. I don't know if they actually got to go or it was online this summer to be Google Classroom certified. And so we've spent some district money to be able to get some people staffed that know what to do with that Google Classroom. So the more acclimated the teachers are, it's going to be easier for those students to learn that as well because they're going to feel more comfortable using it. So I can't give you a definite answer what that would look like, but I hope that we don't have to go into it the first couple of weeks because I think it will take a little bit of time for the students and teachers to get used to using it.
Chris, I would say also that it's probably a fair statement that the students and the staff at the secondary level are more comfortable with it and more well versed. Our learning curve will be at the elementary level, and it will be greater there.
Yeah, because
Those are realities.
yeah, haven't we been using this at the high school anyway? A lot of the teachers. Yeah.
The motion is in order. If there's no more questions.
Madam President, I make a motion that we accept the Edgenuity Virtual Classroom 2020-2021 for all students.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept 10N. Is there discussion? so much